Okay, today I'm going to cook a pork chop wrapped up in alfoil. Basically turn the alfoil into a little oven. It's really simple and you can use it with any sort of meat you want, seafood included. All I do is I get a piece of alfoil, put it silver side up so that reflects the heat back into the meat that you're cooking. I'm just going to spray it with a little bit of spray oil just to stop what we're cooking from sticking to it naturally. I'll put my pork chop right there. I'm just going to cover it up now with some thinly sliced apple, which is actually going to turn into a sauce as this stews inside the alfoil oven. Just give it a good covering all the way over, fairly even sort of a spread. Then I'm going to cover it with a drizzle of honey. Just give it a beautiful sweet flavour as it cooks. A little bit of pepper, if it's to your taste. Certainly is to mine. A little bit of salt. Doesn't hurt to season these sorts of things. Okay, so from there, we're just going to start to wrap him up. Keep it nice and tight. You want a few layers. You don't want it to break while it's inside the coals and let your juices and flavours escape. You just wrap him up nice and tight on the ends. Fold it over a good few times. Same the other end. That's him. Straight down on a bed of coals. I dragged some out a little bit earlier just to put here beside. The sooner you can get them out to when you start cooking, the better, because they will start to lose some heat. Grab your shovel. A few more coals just over the top of him. Leave that for about 10 minutes. Be beautiful. Okay, so that's the 10 minutes, and I reckon our pork chops and apples are going to be spot on. I've got on a pair of welding gloves because they'll protect me from the heat. They're designed to do that. They're for welding after all. So if you're going to be cooking outside, always have a pair of these. It just helps to keep you and your hands away from all the hot stuff. Okay, so we're just throwing back up here on our plate. It's not actually a plate, that's actually a cutting board. It's much better to use than a plate. Turn him out, and there is our pork chop with its apples, honey, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt. That is going to be excellent on a plate with a few veggies.
Steep Point is officially the westernmost point of mainland Australia. The western side of the point seems to catch the full brunt of the Indian Ocean, with one small bay named Thunder Bay, no doubt in memory of the crashing of waves onto these huge limestone cliffs.
The combination of beauty and violence in this water is captivating. I could watch this for hours, and while you do, you think about the poor fish down there. It must be getting their brains battered out. I mean, you can't help but stare at this and think of a person down there. You wouldn't last 3 seconds, but it's so amazing. I just love the way the water just cutting away the earth here. It feels like we're at the end of the earth itself.
What do you reckon? We made it all the way to the most western point of mainland Australia.
Mate, when the sun drops into the water every afternoon, this is the last pass it sees of the whole of Australia.
Except for that bit over there.
In mainland Australia. Don't tell the people from Dirk Hartog that that's not part of Australia, but...
Oh, mate, the beaches here. It's amazing how violent the water usually is around these sort of eastern, northern, western, and southern points, but just on the backside there, it looks like a tropical paradise.
Awesome. I mean, people camp just up along the side there. Look like they've been there for a month.
Yeah.
Massive tents, boats everywhere. They're obviously catching a lot of fish.
Well, you're supposed to get snapper, whiting, and even flathead up here.
Well, mate, this is one of my boxes ticked.
Where should we go next?
The world is our oyster, mate. So what we've got here is an American trying to be Australian. He's out there in the water, he's got a snag, had to hitch his pants up, had to change his name by default to Harry High Pants. He's got a bit of a mammal toe happening out there.